What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode. Coach Joe here with Heartletics.com. Today's episode, we're going to be talking all about feeling burnt out. And I like talking about this simply because at the end of the day, there's such a big difference between feeling burnt out and overtraining. Let me explain overtraining, okay? Because obviously, that's huge. If you're overtraining way too much, spending hours a day working out, your recovery is crap, which means you're not eating properly to replenish and, refuel yourself and recover. If you're sleeping like crap, then guess what? You're overtraining and there's going to have some diminishing returns in terms of higher amounts of cortisol levels, right? All this stress that's underneath the surface that you don't know about, and you're probably going to do a lot more damage than good. Now, feeling burnt out, completely different. And here's the narrative. This is the perspective that I want to give you guys today on the podcast, okay? If you are feeling burnt out, okay, you need to have a real good justification as to why are you feeling burnt out? Why? Is it work? Well, is it maybe you're not doing something that you actually enjoy doing? Is that why you feel burnt out? Is it simple things like going for a walk? And you feel burnt out by going for a walk. Well, at the end of the day, the reality is you're a little girl. That's it. If you feel burnt out by going for a walk, you're a little girl. Plain and simple. You're not a man. You're not an adult. You guys need to have a different perspective. You guys need to have a whole different mindset. And I hate this persona of feeling burnt out. Now, if you're doing something that you generally don't enjoy doing, right, like going to a job that you hate, but you're only doing it to pay the bills, well, hey, it might be best for you to look for sources of income elsewhere and, have this, side hustle and start working on that to eventually replace that crappy job that you hate because, hey, you only got one life to live. I was able to do that. Anybody can do that. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to do that. It just requires work. It requires discipline. It requires determination and sacrifice. And that's where a lot of guys in today's society are lacking, unfortunately, is just that. Discipline, sacrifice. So if you're feeling burnt out, hear me out. One, look in terms of what are you doing that's making you feel this way? Because the reality is this. If you're feeling burnt out about something, one, it probably means that, hey, what you're doing, you don't actually enjoy doing. And two, what are your goals? Because it sounds to me like those goals that you have, they're not there anymore, right? They're kind of lost in the sauce, right? All this smoke and dust is in the way, and you don't have that clear-cut vision of where you're trying to get to. Napoleon Hill talks about in his book, 3 Feet from Gold. And there's so many truths to this, right? Guys in general give up way too soon. And they like to just make up excuses. And feeling burnt out is just an excuse. That's it. You're literally just feeding your ego more and more and more. And that's what the bad wolf is. So, on yesterday's podcast, when I said you can either be coachable or you can be a slave, I want you to understand that have that slave mindset. I don't mean literally shackles and handcuffs. I mean you're a slave to that bad wolf. You're constantly feeding your ego and you're constantly listening to it. You got to understand discipline. You got to understand willpower. And here's the thing. If you're fat, you're lazy, and it's been like that for years, realistically, you're going to get pissed off after hearing this podcast episode. But if you're someone that's on the path to greatness and you understand what I'm trying to say here, it's going to motivate you and inspire you. I say it all the time. I have this inside of our free coaching video that goes over literally a step-by-step approach on how to burn body fat over at Heartletics. If you're over 30% body fat, there's so many different underlying health conditions, right? Not just high blood pressure, high cholesterol, eventually leading to, type 2 diabetes and all these other things, but realistically, low levels of testosterone, okay? You can't be over 30% body fat with high amounts of testosterone. You're lacking that muscle. You have a slow metabolism. You have high amounts of body fat. And so what does that mean? Well, guess what? You have low levels of willpower. You're going to be lacking discipline. You're going to be lacking commitment. Why? Well, you're a slave to feeding the ego. You're a slave to feeding the bad wolf over and over and over and over again. And the only way to break free of that slave mindset is to, one, be open-minded, but two, you got to make a commitment. You got to take ownership that this is your life. Anybody out there, any successful person that you've seen, they all had to commit to sacrifice. They all had to master discipline. They all had to show up whether they felt like it or not. So get this bullcrap out of your head about feeling burnt out. It's not true at all. It's just that the reality is this, is you're looking for an easy outlet. You're looking for a way out. Like if you enjoy doing something and you enjoy the fruits of your labor, you're going to see the reward at the end of the day, but you're going to understand that first and foremost, success does not happen overnight. You didn't get fat and lazy overnight, so why would you expect to burn all this body fat and have six-pack abs in a week? It doesn't work like that, right? Nobody just sits there for one whole day and pigs out, and next thing you know, they're 50, 80, 100 pounds overweight. No. It's, hey, constant efforts of doing the wrong things gave you a fat, lazy, out of shape life, right? Where you're high levels of body fat, lacking willpower, low levels of testosterone, low sex drive, low energy. And the only way for you to make a change is by understanding this. You got to be open-minded. You realistically can't look at yourself in the mirror and, be overweight, man boobs, beer belly, and all this and say, oh, I look good. Like, I'm okay. Like, I get it. That's a sense of confidence. But at the end of the day, if you're actually not progressing and trying to do something here to improve on your health factors and improve on your life, like, you're just lying to yourself. You got to be open-minded, and you should be pissed off. Honestly. Like, you need to get pissed off with yourself. Because nobody forced you to sit on the couch after work and be lazy and watch Netflix. Nobody forced you to just go out every weekend drinking with your buddies and watching the sports game. Nobody forced you to have these unhealthy eating habits. Like, honestly, you gotta be open-minded and you gotta take ownership that this is your life. Every time you point the finger at somebody or something saying, oh, I have a crappy marriage because of this, or I have horrible finances because of this, or I have horrible health and high amounts of body fat because of this. Every time you point the finger at anything or anybody, you have three pointing right back at you. And that's the reality. Like I say it all this time, right? Like I'll talk about it, right? Very open and honest with you guys. If I'm struggling with anything, I'm not going to point the finger and say, oh, well, I'm struggling because of this. I'm struggling because of this. I'm struggling with this. It all stems down to me, right? I talk to so many guys that apply for our coaching program, and they get all like, oh, man, it's the holidays. I got, spend money on my kids. I can't invest in myself right now. Like, I wait for a better time. It's never going to be a better time because that's how your mindset's always going to be at. We live in the 21st century here. Honestly, you know how easy it is to make money and put money towards your health? And putting that aside, right? Like putting that aside, let's say you don't own a rake and you can't go rake leaves, right? Around your neighborhood. Let's say, hey, at the end of the day, you can't pick up a side job like doing Uber or pushing carts at the grocery store, right? Let's say, oh, you don't own a shovel to go ahead and shovel people's driveways around the neighborhood. Oh, you don't have crap that you don't use anyways that's inside your house that you can't sell on Facebook land, right? Let's just put that aside because once again, you have a fixed mindset here and you think like at the end of the day, it's just going to magically be better for you instantly. No. Here's the reality, right? If we're putting all that to aside, what else can you do that's free of charge? That requires no payment method at all, no currency, but it does require an investment. And sometimes that investment means your time. And sometimes that means discipline, and sometimes that means sacrifice. And if you're a slave to feeding that ego, you're a slave to feeding that bad wolf, you understand that, hey, realistically here, you can't even do the simple things of life. Like go for a walk, drink plenty of water, eat more protein, do some push-ups and sit-ups. Why? This all stems down to your mindset. I heard something today on YouTube, and it was a motivational video, and it says something that really spoke out to me. And it says, everybody has a different perspective on life, but your perspective on life can either give you power or it could be your prison. Let me repeat that. Your perspective on life could either be your power or your prison. Most of you guys that's feeding the bad wolf over and over and over again, constantly making up excuses for yourself, you're living in a prison. And that's why I'm saying your ego, you're a slave to it. That bad wolf, you're a slave to it. You're addicted to feeling that way where it's like, oh man, I should just go ahead and do this because why? You never had to do anything hard in your life. And I bet you anything, if you looked all the way back in your whole entire history of life, anytime you had to do something hard and was able to overcome that roadblock or overcome that hump, guess what? It probably felt really, really good. Don't you think that would feel amazing if you actually put in and had that same mindset toward your health and fitness goals? Like, hey, I understand it's going to be hard. I understand that when I come home from work, even though I'm dead tired, I should probably do some push-ups and sit-ups. I should probably go for a walk. I got these kids at home that sit around all day on their tablets watching TV with me, creating these bad habits because of me, because I'm a horrible leader for my own family. And guess what? Like, don't you think in order to get that dream life that you want and improve on your health, improve on your family's health, you're going to have to require something like sacrifice, discipline, dedication, and most importantly, consistency? Like, it baffles me, honestly, because I'm 30 years old and I talk to these people that's in their 40s to 60s, these grown adults, honestly, and they just don't understand that anybody, no matter how old you are, we got people in their 70s that join our coaching program, no matter how old you are, that you're one decision away from a completely different life. That's it. One decision away from a completely different life. And it doesn't have to be hard, but I always say it like this. When you decide to choose the easy route in life, the easy options like sleeping in, like, oh, I'm just going to go eat this crap because I'm used to it. Oh, I don't feel like doing, getting my steps in or doing push-ups and sit-ups. When you decide the easy option, you are going to have a hard, miserable life. And the older you get, guess what? The more your health deteriorates, you are going to be a liability for your kids. Think about it. You're not an asset. You're a liability. And as a father, as a dad myself, that is the most worst thing that you can do in terms of your family. So I love when guys tell me, Joe, hey, I always provide for my kids. I always provide for my family. I'm that type that would take off my own shirt, right, for my kids. That's great. But at the end of the day, like, realistically here, if you're lazy, if you're sitting on the couch all day, you have no discipline, no work ethic, how much are you really being an asset? How much are you really helping out your family? Because monkey see, monkey do. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And at the end of the day here, they're just following in your footsteps. That's it. Like, somebody's going to be raising your kid. Somebody. Either the tablet, either school, either social media, either, the TV and the pollution that you put on inside the family house, or it's your lack of discipline, or it's your lack of commitment, or it's your lack of ownership, because your habits, based on how your body looks, based on, lacking the energy, lacking the sex drive, low levels of testosterone, lacking willpower, guess what? Your kids are going to be following through in those footsteps. And that's why I make sure that, hey, me as a father, I'm doing what I have to do. I'm putting myself first. I always invest into myself, whether that's my time with doing push-ups and sit-ups with my son right there so he can see and join in with me, or hey, it's my time of waking up early before anybody else, focusing on my mindset with my morning routine, going to get a workout in. Like, you got to invest something. No one's going to give you a handout. No one is going to create this magic fat loss pill that's going to instantly change your life and everything's going to be all great. You're going to have millions of dollars, you're going to have six-pack abs, and you're going to have this amazing relationship with your family. That's not going to work. Anything in life worth having requires sacrifice and discipline. But in order to get there, you got to break yourself free of these chains, that handcuffs that you're stuck to, of feeding the bad wolf, feeding the ego, feeding all these lies of the self-limiting beliefs that you have deep inside your head. Feeding all these lies of the excuses that you constantly make. Oh, I'll get started next week. Oh, I'll get started next week. And then next week comes and you make up another stupid excuse as to why you can't get started. Here's the reality. If you want to make a change, 1, you got to be open-minded. 2, you got to take ownership. You got to take commitment. This is your life, nobody else's. Going back to either being an asset or a liability for your kids, realistically, when you're in your, 80s and 90s, if you even make it that long, honestly, if you're fat, lazy, and let's say you have no financial independence at all, like your kids are going to be completely stressed out about you. They're going to be trying to figure out how to pay your bills, right, in the nursing home or for the funeral, whatever the case may be, right? They're going to be figuring out how to take care of you because you're so fat and out of shape, it's completely hard for them to actually move you around. They're going to be stressed out of their minds about you because you decided to say, hey, listen, I'm going to just wait for this magic fat loss pill. I'm going to wait for, this lottery ticket that's going to instantly make me a millionaire, make everything all better. It's not going to happen. It's not. Anybody that you see out there that is successful in life, they all mastered one thing: discipline, commitment, ownership. You have to make the same sacrifices, and it all starts with having a different mindset. If you've been feeding the ego, feeding the bad wolf, that is exactly why you look the way that you do and feel the way that you do. And every single day, it's same old Groundhog's Day, each and every day. Guess what? You got to make a change. You have to first off with changing your mindset. That's why I laugh out there when I hear about all these other coaches, and I hear about all these other programs, and they all preach about the same thing. Oh, try this diet. You got to cut out your carbs. Oh, try this diet. Cut out your sugar and refined foods and cut out your favorite foods and just stick to this and you'll burn body fat. It doesn't work. Honestly, look up most diets. The failure rate, it's like over 90%. Why? Because it doesn't require anything with you changing your daily habits. And that's where Heartletics focuses on. How do we help you mentally and physically become the best version of yourself? How do we give you all the tools to succeed? Not just in your health and fitness goals, right? With learning how to properly eat for your body type and goals. Meaning, hey, you like cake? We're going to teach you how to eat cake. We're going to teach you how to fit that in, right? Hey, you like donuts like myself? Awesome. We're going to teach you how to do all that. We're going to teach you how to fit it in. It doesn't have to be hard. What you lack is knowledge. Maybe you heard the phrase, somebody can give you a fish and feed you for a day, or somebody can teach you how to fish and feed you for the rest of your life. You need someone to teach you. You didn't learn how to drive a car all by yourself. No. You had to go to driver's ed class. You had to go to, parking your car inside of a random parking lot with no one around and learn how to drive a car. And then eventually go to the suburbs. And then eventually, right, you're on the freeway. But here's the thing. Every single time you had to upgrade, it was a step outside your comfort zone. I'm sure you felt nervous. I'm sure you felt scared. Why would you not want to have a team of people supporting you and helping you? That's the biggest asset of Heartletics is that you have people on your side 24/7. Whenever guys are going to different restaurants, we scan over the restaurant menus. Whenever guys are traveling, we make adjustments for their workouts to best suit, their schedule. Whenever guys get injured, right, we either pause their account so that way they're not wasting away weeks, or we make adjustments. 24/7 support. But on top of that, you have other guys that are no different from you. Les Brown said it best. Birds of a feather flock together. You hang around in life with losers, you will become a loser. You hang around in life with winners, you will subconsciously become a winner. We have a community group with hundreds of guys that's all on the path of becoming a better man. Not just for themselves, but most importantly for their families. Because they know for a fact that they need to start leading by example. And they know that any step outside their comfort zone, getting one step closer to their goals, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. Life's always going to throw adversity your way. Life's always going to throw your curveballs your way. And the reason why 99% of guys fail at reaching their health and fitness goals is simply because they don't have teammates. They don't have coaches. They don't have support. They don't have guidance. They don't have family. They don't have a community. So what happens is they strike out during these life curveballs. And they get all bent out of shape about it. They get all depressed. They throw in the white towel and they give up. They go back to feeding the ego, feeding the bad wolf, go back to their old ways. And year after year, it's the same old song and dance. Lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. And the only thing that constantly grows on them is their body fat. Because just losing weight, gaining weight over time like that is horrible for your health. Horrible. Most importantly, it's horrible for your mindset. But when you have guys in your corner that's helping you every step of the way and are fully there committed to you having success on your health and fitness journey and helping you become the best version of yourself mentally and physically, well, think about it like going out to war. And now it's not just you with a little pistol all by yourself. You're going to die instantly, right? Against armies, tanks, everything like that. You're not going to survive. That's the realistic, right? You're not going to win that war. But when you have an army, a military, right, of guys that are strong, hungry, of tanks behind you that's helping you defeat that bad wolf each and every day, you cannot lose. You will always win that battle. I'm not saying every single day is going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park. But here's the thing. You got support. You got guidance. You got guys that's been in the trenches with you. You got the guys that's been through battle already. And they know what it's like to get through that. And we all can help you. But the reason why, once again, you are stuck right now with your life. You're stuck right now with maybe your finances. You're stuck right now with maybe your marriage. You're stuck right now with definitely probably your health right now. Your mindset. Remember, your perspective of your life can either give you power or be your prison. Stop feeding the bad wolf. Stop feeding your ego, the same ego that thinks like, oh, I don't need a coach. I can do this all on my own. I'm just going to cut out carbs. I'm just going to do intermittent fasting. I'm just going to go ahead and do endless amounts of cardio and try to do this all on my own. Hey, did you try to learn how to drive a car all by yourself? Did you have to finish school all by yourself with no teachers, no tutors? Hey, did you learn how to get a job and learn how to actually do that trait, whatever it is that you do at work without any help, without any guidance? No. Somebody always had to teach you something. But the problem is when guys get married and guys get these 9-to-5 jobs, they stop playing the game of life. Where they stop realizing here that, hey, I actually need help. Because what happens is they become the sole provider for their family. And they boost up their egos saying, hey, I don't need any help. I can do this all by myself. And if you look at your body right now, you look at yourself dead in the eyes in the mirror and have a realization conversation with yourself and just say, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm sick of being fat. I'm sick of being lazy. I'm sick of being depressed. I'm sick of not doing anything to better aid in my health. I'm sick of leading horrible examples for my kids. I'm sick of being a liability for my family as I get older because I want to save all my money for retirement. Well, guess what? Your retirement, you're going to be wasting away all your money just to regain back your health. I say it like this all the time. Time is the most precious commodity we have here on earth. Tomorrow's not even promised. But yet, right, guys don't understand that they print money every single day. And it's so easy to make money in today's society if you have a different mindset. You can do anything. Anything. Go pick up a side job. Go rake some leaves. Go shovel the snow. Go cut the grass for somebody. I don't know. Go walk somebody's dog. Anything. Anything. Go sell the crap that's sitting around your house in your basement that you don't use anyways. Anything. But yet guys are still waiting for that handout. Guys are constantly still waiting for, oh, I can do this all by myself. I'm just going to wait for that fat loss pill. I'm just going to wait for, that lottery ticket and my life's going to completely change. Listen, if you've been struggling with your health and fitness goals for the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years and your body has not changed, it's only got worse, and you're exactly the same way where you are right now in terms of, let's say, your marriage, your family relationship, your let's just say your finances as well, here's the reality. It's never going to change. And so I challenge you, take a moment, right? Step outside of where you are currently right now and just ask yourself this. If my future self, let's say me in 15, 20, 25 years, would they be actually proud of the decisions that I'm making today? Or am I actually making things a lot harder for my future self down the road? Mike Berry, he's a prime example. He's one of our clients that in 7 weeks of coaching reversed his type 2 diabetes and got off all of his blood pressure and cholesterol medications. And when I asked him when we had our call, hey, Mike, are you serious about this? Like, you know, it's not going to be some cheap one-size-fits-all cookie-cutter program like everybody else out there. This is coaching. This is a life-changing transformation. Are you serious? He said, yes. And I said, why? He said, because it's costing me more staying the same than not moving forward and not progressing. He said, I'm going to find a way to make the payments. I'm going to find a way to make this work because it's not doing my family, let alone myself, any good staying who I am today with a horrible mindset, lacking energy, and not having good habits at all for his family. He knew he needed to make a change. He saw the cost of inaction, that it was costing him a lot more. It's costing him his happiness, depression, on top of that, loads of money in terms of his medications for his type 2 diabetes and blood pressure and cholesterol. Now, guess what? He reversed all that. Now he's off all these medications. Now he's leading by example for his family. Now he has the right habits because guess what? We taught him how to fish. We taught him the tools on how to eat properly, how to train properly, to not only reverse all of his medications and improve on his health, but also give him the energy, give him the confidence, teach him the right habits to improve on his mindset, and really help him become the best version of himself mentally and physically. And guess what? In the underlining factor, hey, that small fee for an investment into our coaching program added years to his life. That's priceless. So at the end of the day, remember, your perspective can either give you power or it can be your own prison. Stop being a slave to feeding your ego and thinking you know how to do it all. Once again, the reason why 99% of guys out there fail at reaching their goals is because they're all on the island by themselves. They don't have any coaches, any teammates, no community, no support, and most importantly, no knowledge. Nobody taught you how to go through life, right? To where you are right now where you're suffering. No, somebody had to teach you stuff as you've been growing up, right? School, driving, work, somebody always had to be there. Maybe right now, you need somebody to teach you how to become the best version of yourself. Maybe right now, you need somebody that's going to be in your corner supporting you. Because I get it. Feeding the good wolf is hard. Taking ownership of your life, taking commitment of your life, being open-minded and admitting that you don't know how to make a change can be very tough. But guess what? The minute that you do, I promise you, you're going to start seeing life differently because you're going to first and foremost going to have a different perspective on life, and you're going to start giving yourself power because there's going to be guys in your corner that's going to be helping you every step of the way so you cannot fail. Guys, it's been Coach Joe with the Heartletics podcast, and I hope you guys got some value. If you did, go ahead, share this on social media, share this with a friend or a loved one, and let's really come together here to make the world a better place. And it all starts with you leading by example. You want to improve on your family? You want to improve on your health? You want to improve on your relationships? You want to improve on your income, your finances? It all starts with you. And sometimes that means just having a whole different perspective, a whole different mindset, and taking ownership that, hey, every time that you point the finger at somebody else or something else as to why your life is the way it is right now, just remember you have 3 fingers pointing right back at you. It's time to man up, and maybe you just need Heartletics to help you every step of the way. Peace out, Girl Scouts.